spook easily startled.
Have you ever explored the depths of fear? Have you ever wondered what depravity dwells within the imagination of a storyteller that prompts them to exhume horrors untold and expose those horrors to unsuspecting audiences? Some are repulsed, and some are shaken. However, there are those who are invigorated. So to those demented souls, we invite you to journey inward into the dark bowels of human imagination. Press play, and you will discover what's in the podcast.
It all began in a peaceful community, a place that had never known evil, until now. Coming up from the depths, out into the light. Slugs. First, they got into the water system. Now they'll get into your system.
Oh my God!
Don't turn on the tap. Don't go in the basement.
No! Get out of it!
Steer clear of the sewers. And whatever you do, don't make out while your parents aren't home. Slugs. It may be the most shocking movie you will ever see. Slugs.
And welcome back to another edition of What's in the Podcast, Nature Strikes Back month. And previously we had honored the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Now we're going to honor another type of animal, one that which is in your gardens all over the place, and periodically on your dish, depending on which cuisine you adhere to. We're talking about slugs. We're talking about slugs today.
They're not snails. I don't think anyone eats slugs.
Give it time. I'm sure there.
Well, someone does in this movie.
Someone does in this movie in a big way. Absolutely. So yes, the voice if you're watching the video version, you can see my significantly better half, Lynn. But joining us, because we want to make this a special month, we're going to have a guest for every single one of our breakdowns. Today, it is going to be our good friend from the West, Matt Konopka, Killer Horror Critic. Welcome back.
Nobody's eating slugs, man. I don't think that is a
I'm
cuisine.
looking at it.
Hey,
right.
Do it.
Look it up.
Do it.
I
now.
don't know that is a cuisine, but I will tell you this: after watching slugs, I would never, ever eat a slug.
Oh hell no!
I mean, if it looked
Hell
as
no.
awesome as that, if I ever got really low and wanted to
No, man.
Yes.
Why would you want to? Why would you want to go that way? People eat slugs. Is that why you're laughing?
No. That's not what it was. Okay.
Okay. Just don't give us a suspense.
Sorry, I'm reading it. Okay. It says yes, slugs are generally considered edible for humans, but with a significant safety precautions due to carrying parasites.
Boom. Hey, you know what? People eat
listen.
fish,
So I'm gonna make an early point about slugs then, in that So obviously anybody can look at this film and just on a surface level basis go, oh, what a dumb movie, killer slug, whatever. But you have to admire that they actually put quite a bit of thought into some of this, including this kill that we're referencing, they apparently really actually researched slugs and were like, maybe this would be a possible way to die if you ate one.
There was one thing though, and again, it was me looking up slug facts while we are watching the movie. The opening scene is the slugs, I guess, in water, or you see that a lot in the end of the movie. That they can't swim.
Well, I mean, I didn't say the movie was accurate, but
yeah, that I had more issue with.
But that eating them, that is actually a concern, is the parasites that they carry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same thing with chicken. I mean, as long as you prepare it properly, chicken, can be.
Yeah, but chicken's actually good. I don't want to eat a slug.
Hey,
apparently
snails are tasty.
No, that actually did. Further down, I was reading. How you can.
You never had escargot?
Fuck no. I mean, I've had it, but I don't like it.
Escargot is tasty.
No, escargot has the consistency of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not that bad, but they're not slugs. They're not slugs.
I mean, to each their own. Like, if one of your listeners is a big slug-eating fan, good for them. It's just not my jam.
Oh, yeah. No. We're doing this in aid of stopping that one person from going to the comment section going, you're all completely wrong. I eat slugs all the time. I replace
Good one,
Good on you, buddy.
I mean, obviously doing something right. He hasn't had
Yeah.
his brain explode yet from
mean,
loopworms or whatever.
These were super slugs, so maybe the super slugs had
Yeah.
super.
And super parasites.
Hey,
Yeah.
They were like fighting for it. At the end, it
Yeah.
was like freedom, and they just exploding out.
Oh, so Slugs came out in 1988, and part of the reason I jumped on this, like the first time we even got any kind of allusion to it, is the fact that it is directed. The credits say J.P. Simon, but we know it is Juan Piquer Simon, the brilliant mind and also depraved mind behind Pieces and also Pod People.
I would like to throw in The Rift as well, which is a pretty fun kind of aquatic horror film that just goes full bonkers aliens nonsense. So
Nice. All right, I'll definitely look that one up too. But this was actually based on the book by Sean Hudson, and according to Intel, that the book, for as horny and as gory as this movie is, apparently the book actually goes harder.
like harder on the horniness and the gore.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Apparently, he pumped the brakes and said, "No, that's too much."
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's possible, but you.
Is like, how's that possible? But Lord knows he did.
Did you do something right if the director of Pieces is like, this goes too far?
Right or wrong? It's
Wrong,
a
man.
fascinating concept of, okay, what's in this book?
Right, like if the director of Pieces is like, nah, too much, went too far, you gotta wonder what is in
That's
that
where
book.
you slow blink and you're like,
Yeah, I admit for myself, I'm actually just surprised. I was thinking we were going to cover Pieces on this podcast way before we ever tackled Slugs, but here we are.
I like Pieces, but I think Slugs is more entertaining.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah,
It is.
I give it that.
I would even say it's a lot more audience accessible than Pieces is. Pieces can get uncomfortable. There are some uncomfortable bits in Pieces.
I'm not saying Slugs make sense, but it makes more sense than Pieces.
Yeah. It's like,
it has sense to it.
I mean, it has a.
It has its own logic that
and I will say
works.
the characters are all likable.
Yes.
Like you actually like the lead. You like,
Well, it's Mike Brady.
Yeah, Mike Brady.
It's Mike Brady. The story of a man named Brady.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching it with my wife last night. It was her first time seeing it, and
you gotta tell me what Chris thought of it.
Well, I mean, she liked it, but just on what Lynn was saying is, when the thing happens to his friend in the end, she was like, "Oh no, not him!"
Yeah, no, they're not.
Like he's so nice and he has a family.
Oh, you mean Don? You're talking about Don. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying about Don.
And then Mike Brady does his little parkour, like shimmying over the line. And I was like, bro, where was this the whole movie?
Yes, I know we're jumping ahead here, but it's like, why did you guys just do that in the first place?
Slugs.
If you're that deep on plot progression, you're watching the wrong movie. But
oh no, we're not watching the wrong movie. We were watching the right movie. Slugs is definitely the right movie. This is a movie that we watched. I forget what Oh no, actually.
Oh no, it was a kill count.
Dead Meat had announced that they were going to do the kill count on. And one thing we always try to do, we always try to watch the movie before we watch the kill count, as they ask us to do.
I'm so glad we did.
I am so happy we did. I was so happy we did because I didn't want anything to diminish the impact of the shit we saw when we watched that movie. Finally, I think the thing that immediately gave me a little bit of a wink was Juan Piquer Simon, because just knowing that guy's notoriety for excess, I was like, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. So as customary, Matt, go ahead and give us a synopsis as best you can of Slugs.
Synopsis. Okay. I don't know. Small town health inspector discovers that mutant slugs mutated by toxic sludge buried under the city are now, I guess, like biting people to death. I never fully understand how the slugs like.
Well, they actually say in there that slugs, just on their own, slugs actually have like 3 rows of teeth. So when they're mutated, I suppose it's like getting eaten by a bunch of mini shachaluds, so.
I mean, yes, but there's a.
Are they little piranha type? Like
they're
fast. They're quick in this movie.
Well, you electrocute them and they slide down there like they're going through Typhoon.
I mean, yeah, when you give them a good zap, they're fast, but for the most part, they're pretty sluggish.
But I'm like,
we are parking that dad joke.
But well, it's like every time they do kind of a kill, it's always like the reactions over the top, or it comes out of no, like the opening, one of the opening kills in the water where you don't see anything. I mean, it could have been Jaws for all we knew. Was when the guy, it's all like the
I'm
camera.
sorry, now I'm just laughing about like the opening kill is just completely unrelated to the rest of the movie.
It kind of is, actually.
They actually have like a
I don't know
lake
what
monster
happened
in
to
there
that
somewhere.
guy.
Yeah.
And like the slugs were in the water. Were they all like just funneled in that one spot? I mean, this is a lake.
I mean, this is what I love about slugs is like, again, even though they actually did research and, you know, looked into the parasite stuff and whatever, at the same time, they're just every chance they get are just like, ah, fuck it, who cares about logic?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you have this opening scene where this kid is pulled in the water by the slugs. How did they do that? How did the slugs do that?
The same way the bees set off a nuclear reactor.
They're in the swarm, you know? I mean,
intelligent bees.
I mean, they just
don't tempt me to do an episode on the swarm. Don't tempt me.
You're gonna have to now.
Not one to suffer that thing.
The swarm, God.
Well, it was like the one thing I liked when we were watching it is that these slugs are fast on their own and silent. They keep sneaking up and like going in a location that nobody notices them until they notice them.
And except that when it is convenient for the plot, somehow miraculously does not leave their jizz trail lying around, except when, you know, the script calls for it that they do.
Well, it's like the second kill where the dude in the house, like, it's on the couch. He like lays down on the couch, and all of a sudden there were slugs all over it.
He lays on the couch and starts screaming like, "You didn't see any of them?"
And there's none on the floor.
Well, I mean,
they all like chose, guys, get on the couch.
It was
nighttime.
It was nighttime, and it was a condemned house, probably with no power. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was dark.
It was pretty light in that house. I'm just gonna say
that was movie lighting.
They clearly shot that scene during the day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. For us on a film, I'm sure that was day or night. I am putting myself in the context of the movie. It was dead of night, and you know, he had no power.
Oh, okay. But when there's no power, you know, I'm gonna like pat the couch, you know, just to feel for it and see where it is. Like,
I'm not all that slide. I'm questioning how did all of the slugs decide to sit on this one couch, because there's no slugs anywhere else. As the viewer, we can see there are none. They all decided to get on this couch. And like,
I don't even think they sat on the couch. I think they were like under the cushions, and then he laid down, and they all were just like food and like, get him,
get him. You know,
they probably do what I do when I sleep. That guy was probably doing what I do when I sleep on the couch, where I dig my hands underneath to see if I can find loose change. You know, and it's probably like start getting bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, then you have the later one where the two are having the most unsexy sex scene I've ever. Probably definitely one of the most unsexy sex scenes. It rivals those sad. No, those were just pathetic. This one was just too nasty.
It's very just awkward.
It's just there.
Yeah.
You know, all the slugs decide, no, we're going to hang on the floor, guys. We're just going to hope they step off.
They're going to come to us eventually.
We're not going to go up we're not going near that.
We're not looking up there.
Down here.
Yeah.
You know, I watched the scene, and on one hand, it's like, you know, this is what I was wondering about how the slugs kill. It's like she falls onto the slugs and then just like can't get up. You know, it's like she's never been on a slip and slide before. You know, like just stand up. But then I love the guy who clearly never played The Floor is Lava, because you know, like those are skills you have to learn as a kid, and he clearly never did, because he can't even reach
the game show, you know, where they have like little puzzles that he can use to traverse the place. Yeah.
Short either. He had a length. He could have. I mean,
he could have cut off his hair and fashioned a rope out of it.
It's just the funniest death in the movie, I think. Like he literally just can't walk the one step to the window.
Yeah.
And then he just flops in. I'm like, yo, out, boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
Shouldn't have had that one shot of whiskey.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. No. His whiskey dick was sagging down too hard. I think that's what made it. His dick sagged down.
Just weighing him down,
and gave him impromptu circumcision.
Jumped on his foot when he just put his foot down. Like one was like, no, you're giving us away.
No, not the impossible weight of one slug.
Well, I suppose if there's any movie that I would probably, some people have said this would make a good double feature with, would be Squirm.
Oh yeah, the Squirm was the first one I thought of.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the scenes where like all of a sudden it's slugs covering all the ground, and I'm like, dude, that's just like Squirm.
Yeah, where Squirm actually
Yeah.
kind of did the same thing, where the worms just a whole bunch of them just happened to just cover the entire floor of the jail cell. When the sheriff and the girl were having sex, or all these slugs go like freaking 4 feet deep in the bottom floor of that house, like in no time flat. It's like,
I'm like, how are they coordinating?
yeah. I mean, are slugs a hive consciousness like bees?
Yeah, maybe. They got those little antenna, who knows what they're doing with those things.
I suppose. Yeah. So, but fortunately, like as previously mentioned, the characters in this movie are actually quite charming in lieu of the fact. I think it's because they're like the most flawed characters, not just flawed like I don't want
normal.
They're just normal people. I suppose you
Yeah.
could say, yeah.
They're not Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They don't have like a movie star quality to them. They're regular people.
Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that in some of these like small town films and all, is when it always takes me out of it when someone looks a little too Hollywood. There's no slight on these actors, I feel ya, but when they actually can be like a real person, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could,
it adds legitimacy to it.
yeah, like Mike Brady, I could totally. The name though, my God.
yeah, just
That is a little hard to swallow every time.
having
Yeah.
actually done a stage version of the Brady Bunch playing Mike Brady, I had some bad flashbacks doing
It's actually funny.
Yeah, well,
You modified it.
I modified it just because I hated that.
You played it with Al Bundy.
I played Mike Brady as Al Bundy because I was like, that's how the dad of 6 kids, 3 of which are not his own, would actually act. That's how he would. Whereas this Mike Brady has a teacher wife who is quoted the wicked bitch of the North.
The thing is,
Which she just lets pass.
She probably owns it. She probably owns up to it.
Like, she's probably not actually that bad, but like I don't think they ever say what grade was it.
Oh no, they do. No, you actually see her teaching in the school. Oh, it's high school. It's high school.
Yeah.
They always think they're like so cool and they know so much because you're a bitch because you gave me homework on Friday.
Yeah.
And she's like, losers. You don't even know what life is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm glad you got eaten by slugs on the floor.
Yeah, you got. Well,
yeah, actually, the ones who actually call her that are the ones who get eaten.
Right. It's the girl, that says that.
That was karma. The slugs were like, no, man, we like that teacher.
Yeah, slugs were like,
right.
This is what you get for dissing our educational system.
Yeah. Now, the moment where I do get mad at the slugs for directing their karma in the wrong direction is and I told Chris this because she got mad at it, and I was like, hey, that's just the 80s for you. Is the scene later on where the girl gets harassed by the one dude and he tries to rape her basically, and then
that was Juan Piquer Simon peeking out right there. That was Pieces. Peeking out.
But it's like she dies and then he gets away scot-free, and
he should have been the one to like fall in and get killed.
Right. And it's like if it was made today, like he absolutely would be the one to get eaten, but
or if they did let him get away with it, he would have gotten blown up in the Inferno, which honestly that would have been funny. That would have been funny if he got blown up in the Inferno.
No, not blown up. Just his dick gets set on fire and burns off.
I'll take that.
Honestly, I'd like the manhole cover fly off because of the fire and it smashes right into him.
Yeah,
that'd also be good.
The Nation style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Slug should have bitten it
I
off.
will say
Something like that.
That kill was the there's a few, but one that was just mean spirited, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, that's just kind of the director. It's his game, I guess. But
well, it could be the director, it could be the novelist. I don't know. Apparently, the author, Sean Hudson, he was not fond of the film at first. It took him a long time to warm up to the movie after a while, but he hated it.
He's like, this film is too tame for my book.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at this like going.
You'd be surprised when authors are pissed off about adaptations if they change like anything. They might think their word is law, even if the product is still good.
Yeah.
Or sometimes,
I mean, I'm not super familiar with the writer, but I would say like, hey, this movie's the only reason I know about your book, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think your book is going to be a big seller.
Yeah, I don't know that it's still popular, but anyway.
Absolutely, but hey, we got ourselves a memorable ass film that we're doing a podcast on right now, and we're marveling about the fact that we have exceptionally horny characters of various ages, very unconventional ages. I mean, even Don, we were making jokes about the fact that, that, oh my God, he actually has a wife who looks like his age, that actually looks like, and it's actually kind of fun that they actually made him clearly a sexually active couple. I was actually kind of impressed. I was actually impressed by that.
Yeah, and that's kind of like everyone looks the role. It's not like they don't have any creepy like older man with a very clearly younger woman. No, everyone looks like they even have the one couple with slug in brain.
Oh yeah, David and his wife Maureen.
They acknowledge that she's kind of an alcoholic, but like it's not goofily done, like not drunk or anything, but like she's clearly intoxicated a lot, acknowledging it, and still cares about him. He still clearly cares about her to a degree,
right?
And it's like everyone just feels really. It's one of my loves of My Bloody Valentine, the original, is that everyone's very normal.
Yes, it's a great example.
That all these people live in this town, and whatnot. Same thing with SLUGS is very.
Yeah, and even to the fact that we also got Mike, who is a health inspector, who very clearly is not liked by practically everyone above him because
well, what the mayor's corrupt, shocker.
Well, when you think about beyond corruption, I mean, I can understand why people don't like the health inspector, because he basically comes in to fuck shit up if
rather than taking responsibility for your place is a mess and it's nasty, and his job to tell you that. You're going to hate him more than you hate the fact that you made the place nasty,
Yeah, and speaking of, I like the moment with the sheriff, because it's another moment that just feels kind of legitimate when the sheriff's like, asking him, do I gotta close this place down or not? And he's like, give me 5 fucking minutes to like do my job, and figure it out. Like that just felt very, I don't know, real to me. Like, yeah, that's something that would happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, after, of course, with the infamous brain explosion scene, you got the people at the Italian restaurant legitimately freaking out, going like,
they're like, it's not us,
God.
Yeah, which is a legitimate concern, and we, the audience, of course, know that. Yeah, no, these guys are fine. They have absolutely no problem. This actually came from really bad salad, which
we know, but like, if you were in that restaurant, what would you think? This guy's eating food there, and all of a sudden,
of course, yeah,
bugs.
It's like, this is not Jack in the Box. You're fine.
It's not Taco Bell. It's fine.
Yeah, now, Jack in the Box, you do have a legitimate concern about brain worms, but...
Yeah.
We don't have them here.
Yeah, this is not RFK's kitchen,
right? It's.
Oh, went political on this fucker.
Hey, give it another year. We'll have RFK restaurants on every corner.
Decided to market gummy RFK brainworms. I don't know why not.
Would be
that would be fucking hilarious.
You know what? Sometimes
just remake Brain Damage with the worm having RFK's face on it.
No. Make Aylmer latch on to RFK.
Yes, even better.
Oh my God, that's a Photoshop meme. That's a meme waiting to happen.
Easier, super easy. Just gummy worms, but the bag's shaped like a silhouette of RFK's face.
Yeah.
So you just reach and pull out of it.
Yes.
Pulling worms out of his head.
Maybe like a popcorn bucket, a popcorn bucket.
Oh my God.
Keep it. But just make a point while you're eating your gummy worms. That's all good.
I feel like that would really ruin your appetite for the gummy worms, though. If you're
I have to look at
just reaching into RFK's head.
I have no.
I would. I would be Kathy Griffining that shit. I would put up with the camera with the disembodied RFK head eating the worms. I'd be like that shit.
Oh man.
Oh slugs.
Oh slugs, getting us. Yeah, it's amazing that we were able to get political with a slugs episode. That's kind of amazing.
It's kind of political. They got corrupt mayor and health inspectors,
Yeah. Take the health department seriously, so they just blow everything up.
In their defense, when someone comes
the moral of slugs, listen to the health department.
Yeah, well, someone comes in talking about giant mutant slugs. That's a hard sell.
I would also notice how many people have died in the recent 3 days, and all of them been killed by slugs.
Well, they never. Well, they find the bodies, but there's no slugs around. That's the funny
Yeah,
part.
the slugs are very crafty. See, they commit the
forensic,
murder and then they cover up the evidence.
Yeah. Oh no. These are. Yeah. Oh no. These slugs are kind of like Death from Final Destination 1, where they make where Death made where
I mean,
Death cleaned up the water in the bathroom. I think these slugs are like a lot like
I
that.
mean, these slugs are going to the extent of like they're cleaning up their slime trails, you
Like
know,
Norman Bates.
coming in with a little mop.
cleaning everything up behind them. That's the cleaning crew behind them.
Kind of like the what was it, the architect from Dune, you know, how they had his little helpers as he left.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Not the-
That was the guild operators.
Oh, the guild operator. Okay.
The guild.
Yeah.
After the navigator was taken away, there's like these guys mopping up behind
We're
them.
talking about Lynch's Dune.
Yeah, Lynch's Dune.
Yeah, see, these are all in the deleted scenes. We just didn't see the cleanup crew, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the budget. It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it was like,
Put it
you
in.
know what? They'll believe whatever I put in front of them. So they'll believe that the slugs
feel like
cleaned up after themselves.
Suspension of disbelief. Just
Yeah.
don't.
You just
Don't.
It's easy.
But it makes you wonder, like, because I don't recall if they mentioned this in the movie, but what did they think was killing people when they're finding bodies with like hundreds of little bites all over them?
With the guy in his house, they operated, because of course it was a condemned house. They assumed animals came in and ripped them apart.
Right? Don't they say rats? That's what they
Yeah,
think, or
like
something?
Rats at some point.
Which I will say, rats. You get, well, anyone who's seen Willard knows. You know, you get a bunch of rats together.
Yeah.
Couple with the explosion. I mean,
Oh yeah, we got.
we gotta talk about that.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
Please tell me, even when we first saw this, we were getting frogs flashbacks from that whole thing. You know, admittedly, we didn't have the shot of the lizards going like we did in frogs,
I
but
mean, no, he just had one. And the thing is, that wasn't even a bunch of slugs. That was just one very tenacious slug.
Right.
That
That was a
got that
troublemaker
whole thing
slug.
done.
yeah,
This is the John Wick of slugs. He
Yeah.
got it.
it learned its mode of attack from that one spider in Arachnophobia that got the guy's shoe.
Yes.
Yeah, but did it escalate to the level?
It didn't escalate like that.
Like arachnophobia, I don't think that spider was like, I'm gonna make the house blow up.
No, we'll save that for
This slug gets
Infested.
shit done, all right?
Yeah. It's funny, when we did our age-old fears talking about bugs, after we watched this movie, long after we did that episode, I was like, damn it, I wish we had watched this movie before we did that episode, because I guarantee we would have had a whole thing to talk.
But you know, we're here now, so
The films we have in this collection are all very special.
Yeah, this one.
They're
kinda
all
was.
special for
This-
their own little reasons.
And we had options.
Exactly.
We had
Oh,
options.
every
yeah,
movie's
we
had
every
a lot
movie's a
of-
miracle, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually surprised we picked one option over another.
Actually, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about what was it? Alligator we were talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
I
talking
love
about doing
alligator.
alligator.
which I love alligator.
Well, no, the reason why is because we were also gonna do Lake Placid, and if we did, we would have
Oh,
had two
that's-
shark movies and then two gator movies, and we were like, let's diversify.
No, actually, I thought we were going to do alligator instead of Lake Placid. I haven't seen Lake Placid in so long. I kind of
it's like, yeah, you gotta do that.
Alligator's better. I like Lake Placid though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're different kinds of movies.
Yeah, very different.
Well, this is definitely, and that's another reason why I want to do this one, because this one was definitely considerably different than anything we did.
It's the interesting thing with creature features, especially with bug ones, is either it goes super camp or it goes super serious. But
Yeah.
also, it sometimes can fail when it goes serious because you're really having to sell these animals. Like,
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, this is something that I like about Slugs, and we mentioned earlier Squirm, is that, again, like on its face, it's a ridiculous movie, killer slugs, all that. It's silly, right? But they do this thing, so like, I read one Stephen King talking about the different kinds of scares that you can use against audiences, and like, basically he said that if you can't do this or that, then the gross out is kind of what you end up with, where you just like gross them into being scared essentially. And I feel like that's kind of what Squirm and Slugs are, is that even though they're not like necessarily taken seriously, they are very effective in like getting under your skin at times, because it is so gross and nasty and uncomfortable that there are moments where I'm legitimately like, like, ugh.
Yeah, they still sell how disgusting it is to land on a floor covered in slugs and be.
Yeah.
And I will say the actors, give it to them, were selling how fucking painful it is to be.
Oh yeah, and the worms exploding out of the brain and everything.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of moments that are legitimately like creepy.
Yeah.
For a movie about slugs, they go for the gross out, but like it's
Mm.
creative how they go for the gross out, if that makes
For
sense.
sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think, and I never thought, and because they actually did, like we all said, they did research blood flukes to find out that there are these parasites that actually do that to people when they get eaten, or like when they
Well, maybe
actually,
not to that degree.
maybe not to
but
that degree, but the idea that there's a parasite. But again, these are superpowered, toxic powered.
these are
Sure,
super
yeah.
slugs. We can let them
Yeah, we can.
be a
You can
little.
have a little fun with it, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually the fun thing about using the whole mutation aspect as your get out of jail free card, is that it allows you to go a little extra when normally in life you probably can't.
I mean, in most cases, when the animal is not from space, it's a mutation because the actual animal's not strong enough. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Squirm, it was the electricity,
Yeah.
like amped them up or something. You got slugs. Was it the swarm? It was like superized bees.
Yeah,
because
just
of
Africanized
crossbreeding or some
bees.
crap,
Yeah.
Well,
you
well,
know?
yeah, and I mean, that's basically the key of eco horror like this is to say, like, hey, all the shit that we're doing with, toxic sludge and pollution and just throwing it under the city somewhere and
Yeah.
praying for the best. Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
whole point is being like, hey, we should maybe stop this.
Yeah, and even better, his like partner in crime. Of course, you got Don, who's a sewage worker. So I was like, wow,
Mm.
we even got a little bit of Chud going on here with this. Where we got like some action going on in the sewers. I will say, I don't know what. Actually, the I got to give a love to Carlo Diamarchis, the special effects guy, who worked on this, because the gore effects he put on this one, not just that, but I don't know what they did for the effects of those dead animals that they find in the sewer, but that was some good looking dead animal. Like, I don't know.
I couldn't tell what the animal was. I think that probably was like actual like meats or something.
Probably.
I mean,
It could have been, yeah.
before in
Yeah.
zombie movies, but I'm pretty sure that was like sheep stomach or something like that.
Could have been.
Because you can't
But
tell what it
that's
is.
another moment that works, right? Where he's like pulling everything out of the drain with the hook, and it looks like he's pulling out like animal skins and intestines and everything. Like it's legitimately kind of unsettling.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up about the whole idea of gross out, generating the fear factor here, because I think the real element to make this thing work is to see the real damage that these slugs can do to people. And I will say, when you see like what happened to that guy on his couch, and you see like what happened to his body afterwards, and even just the girl as she lands on the floor and she looks up and already part of her face is already eaten off. I mean, that.
But the funny part is they'll do the gross out moments, but then they dial it back and you see the girl, you see her face kind of messed up. You never see the guy when he gets eaten. It's off screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, also I'm like budget, but like
definitely plays
see
into
what's
it.
happening to her. Now in your brain, you're thinking of what's happening to him off screen, and it's like 10 times worse. It's more unsettling.
Right.
Because it's also the lower half of the body. I'm like, oh, that's not going to be fun.
Right, because it gives you like a taste of what's happening so that your brain does the rest, right?
Yeah, I mean, even Tom Savini said less is more sometimes, where your brain's going to come up with something 3 times worse than anything they could put on screen.
Oh yeah, and that's what Kane argues, is that like the best scare is the one that you don't see, right? Like, or the monster that you don't see and you just worry about what's behind the door. But basically saying like, if you don't do this or that, then the gross out's kind of where you land at.
Yeah, this is why I do applaud Juan Piquer Simon for his restraint on this one. This I thought was a lot better orchestrated in terms of when he wants to show something in order to hit home how dangerous it is, but then he'll hit you. But then he'll do the off screening to leave it to your imagination. I was many times I kept thinking to myself, this is the same guy who did Pieces, but then something comes in, but then something comes in, and I'm like, oh yeah, there it is, there it is. Ironically, it usually happens when the characters get exceptionally horny, but I mean that.
Except for that one sex scene, which it reminded me a bit of MacGruber.
Oh geez,
MacGruber.
I don't know if you know.
Most accurate sex scene in the history of cinema.
I don't think I've seen MacGruber, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so you know how like in Top Gun they have like that loving
where they start slow and they have wings playing, and
starts that way, but then it cuts back to a wide shot where you're seeing more accurately what's happening.
And you see MacGruber, you're just seeing like this horrible, unflattering wide shot with MacGruber's ass just like bouncing, and he's like going, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna spray it in you. Okay, I gotta spray it all over you." And Kristen Wiig has the most what the fuck face.
but it's like kind of like that's what it would look like if you were. It's not as cinematic.
Watch
as,
any low grade
Yeah.
porn, and that's pretty much exactly what it looks
so
like.
It kind of felt like that's what it was, like sickeningly realistic. So it was not enticing in any way. It was.
It's not flattering.
It's not flattering. Like I'm like, yes, take that drink of alcohol because, buddy, you need it.
Yeah,
Like, you're just really waiting for the slugs to show up. Which is weird because this is the same director that wanted a bunch of women doing aerobics naked.
Naked. Yeah.
And then he was told, no, we don't do that.
It's like no one does that. There is no such thing as naked aerobics in a college.
Oh, that's news
Only
to me.
in a sorority.
Apparently.
Well, even then, in Roger Corman's sorority movies, probably, but God rest you, Raj. But
considering with like the gross out thing, I mean, this is, I think, what so many of us love about the 80s is that, so you look at films like this, right? This eco horror trend that really blew up in the 70s and kind of continued in the 80s with slugs is that
it resurged in the 90s, actually. It really came back with a vengeance in the 90s.
It did, yeah, because wasn't Ticks in the 90s and like Mosquito?
Yeah, Mosquito was in the 90s as well. But even then, you also had just the big eco epics, like, The Day After Tomorrow was like early 2000s. But even then, you had movies like, you had Dante's Peak, you had Volcano LA.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you started seeing all the disaster films then, but
But then you also had Deep Blue Sea. That's where Lake Placid came in, and you had some big monster creature films that popped up in the 90s. It was just learning that I think it was Twister that kind of started this trend at that point of a bunch of disaster.
Oh, the big like weather disaster. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
totally.
for like a couple of years.
Yeah. So Slugs was kind of ahead of its time in terms of like the type of hero character you have. I mean, Mike Brady was kind of like the eco hero horror, who was not like the glamorous hero type. He wasn't like, big chiseled good looks or anything like that. He was just a regular dude. And with a lot of those movies, the everyman ended up being like the hero in a lot of those movies. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say is that these eco films of that period, they're kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't know what the right word is, not continuation, but they're, it's basically just thinking of the thought of like a lot of the filmmakers making those grew up during like the atomic age, seeing those monster movies and they were similarly campy and ridiculous and, giant bugs and everything. And, this kind of feels like a continuation of that where it's like they grew up with those films and then this is sort of an opportunity to do that, but then just make them really big and gross like they weren't able to in the 50s necessarily. Because like when you read the plot, it's like that's something I can imagine, during that atomic age, only maybe the slugs would have been a bit bigger.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the atomic age gave you the toxic waste.
Exactly. Yeah.
Allowed for how many of these films to. That's what caused it to be big. I think even in Alligator, that's what made the Alligator big.
Well, yeah. That one. No, that one.
Sewers.
Yeah, it was in. Well, what happened was for that one they were experimenting on other animals, and whatever animals died, they just ditched the bodies in the sewers where that alligator was eating them, and they were experimenting with growth hormones. Okay, but either way, it's
I'm sure
there's one with toxic waste.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, eight-legged freaks, bless you. That was toxic waste.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a whole bunch. There's like toxic. There's probably a subcategory of toxic waste caused this.
Well, I think it all.
Well, especially in the late 80s. I mean, the late 80s were like the toxic waste age of horror. Even like with Return of the Living Dead, right? They're in like those toxic waste canisters and
Toxic Avenger.
Well, that was
Toxic Avenger.
That was pro toxic waste because look what it did to Melvin.
Jason Takes Manhattan. That gets really toxic in the end.
Because in New York with toxic waste.
Seriously, I love the aesthetic of that point in horror so much. Just the gross, wet toxicity of New York.
Yeah, and even the fact they have barrels of toxic waste that you can just drown a man in, just like on this. Actually, what it looks like you're drinking right now looks like toxic waste.
I did, I sort of did that on purpose. It's a matcha.
Okay.
But I thought the green would fit our discussion of slugs.
Fresh out said, "Damn it, we could have gotten Ninja Turtle pies."
I don't think those exist.
Ooh, turtle pies. I don't think those are around anymore either. Yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Dang it.
I mean, the Ninja Turtles. It was a TGRI.
TGRI, yeah.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Yeah, I think what it is, our scientists just never really figured out the proper use of toxic waste to, or Return of the Living Dead, or no, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Even use toxic
Mhm.
waste to make FT the cutest little tomato ever.
Yeah.
We haven't been working hard enough at transforming animals through
Tran-
toxic waste.
yeah, transforming tomatoes into people using different types of music with toxic waste. We're not there yet. We need to
Just not
focus our
thinking.
efforts.
Gotta think outside the box.
Got to.
The sad thing is, in school, I remember when I learned what toxic waste was, and I'm like, really? I don't think it looks like the way.
Yeah.
It's essentially when you use the nuclear reactor, it's just the waste from the energy of
Yeah.
the uranium. And I'm like, so it makes green goo? Like, that was my response as a kid. Because of course, whenever you think of toxic waste, you think of like the barrel of green goo. That's what it is. Apparently, that's not what it is.
Well, this is reminding me too, is like Slugs was also because I believe it was before all of this, where it was like a slight precursor to like the obsession with creepy crawlies in the 90s, because I still remember
this is 88. So yeah, this was definitely before that. I mean, Arachnophobia came out like in 1990. After that, Mosquito came out in 1995.
Well, like I remember, they had those I think they were just called creepy crawlers, those sets where you could like you made the bugs and everything, like it was
Which was an easy bake oven with plastic.
You
basically
just eat what came out of it.
You did not want to eat it, no.
No. Well, it was debatable if you wanted to eat anything out of the easy bake oven either, but
toast.
Just toast.
It's the only thing I could cook in that darn thing. Toast.
Yeah, maybe just toast.
Probably just toast. Oh yeah, but you're right though, that this was kind of like a low-key start to that trend that would come out later on. I mean, now I would,
because that really blew up in the early 90s. Just this obsession with bugs, creepy bugs.
I think a lot of it really was just an extension of, because there was this environmental awareness thing that was happening in the 90s. I mean, that people were like obsessed with, Earth Day. I remember the famous Earth Day every
Captain
day.
Planet.
Captain Planet and all that stuff. So
yeah, the environment was a big thing. In the early 90s.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to get political on this shit again because I'm wondering. I mean, did Clinton champion this at all? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if champion would be the right word. I mean, Bush certainly didn't, but
he definitely didn't.
I think Fox News happened. I think that's what went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, it was a popular thing for younger people about the environment, save the rainforest and all that stuff. I'm going to blame Y2K. All of a sudden, the entire focus became like end of the world, and brain just shut down the rest.
Maybe we all just actually died in Y2K, and this is just like the hell version of everything.
Maybe the movie Y2K was actually real. Maybe that was like what actually happened. Fred Durst maybe did save our lives, and all that.
Well, he didn't do a good enough job because we all died. And we're in hell now.
I think because my memory, God, I'm thinking back to the 90s. I do remember a lot of the environmental stuff, but then closer it got to the end of the decade, it did become the shift of hyper focused on 2000.
Yeah, we were freaking out.
It was like hyper.
Oh, I remember.
We got the disaster, end of the world movies like Armageddon and all these others. And that was just the focus. And then when it switched over, it's like, what do we do now? I don't know. And then oh no, I remember now what happened. So it switched to 2000 and 2001.
Yeah, that definitely had an effect.
Focus became on something else.
Yeah,
and environment just took a back seat. And
all I know is we never should have canceled Captain Planet.
Never should have canceled Captain Planet. Maybe
it could have made everything.
Could have had an episode about mutant slugs, blowing up people's heads. We could have had that. I'm bringing it back, bitch. So, I mean, maybe that's what we need now. I'm really happy we had movies like Infested come out recently that talked about this. So I think we need to get back to having creepy crawler movies with an environmental slant. I think we need to get back to that.
Is more for younger people too. I think we need like kind of like some fun. I mean, the Slugs is for adults, obviously, but more creepy crawlies, but that has a point about the environment, but not in a silly way, but in a realistic way. Like just understanding it, because young people don't know how great this stuff was for us. and I
Right.
feel like need to be
Yeah.
because I don't know.
We don't have enough Ninja Turtles or
Yeah,
eight-legged freaks now.
I mean,
That's-
well, I mean, talk.
they have now, man. I mean, I'm just like,
I mean, we're going to be meeting Lloyd Kaufman in a bit. Maybe we could talk to him about reviving Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got the video game coming
Oh,
out.
we got the new video game coming
Yeah.
out. But
like, but think about that. Like, Toxic Avenger, not a film for children at all, but
Yeah.
it had a cartoon series. So you had the RoboCop cartoon. You had all this stuff.
dude, no.
But
Like Degrassi, but Class of Nukem High. Just like the Nukem High version of Degrassi. You don't know Degrassi
I
Junior
don't
High?
know what to.
Oh, that was Canadian high school melodrama at its finest. And
Oh,
our
I would
oh
not.
yeah,
I'm trying to picture the Class of Nukem High version of this.
Degrassi, that would be amazing.
Why don't we have Class of Nukem High?
The next generation, or the next
Oh my
class,
God.
yeah. Yeah, damn it, I gotta work on my pitch for Lloyd.
Either way, more things that bring awareness.
Yeah. So
The
yeah,
giant
so we are
killer
doing our level
slugs.
best to use slugs as a means to bring out people's environmental awareness to not fuck with slugs.
And I mean, yes, exactly.
I also do love that behind the scenes, apparently the town loves the movie. It's not one of those where we don't want to talk about we did this.
Yeah.
So apparently they were finding slugs, the fake rubber slugs, like for years after.
Yeah,
Like,
because
all over the
because when they did the explosions, they actually were like blowing up a bunch of fake slugs like all over
place.
the
You can
place.
see that in the screen.
Yeah, and little bit, and they were like all, and apparently the residents of the town were still finding them decades later, like for years ago. Because I will say those explosions were
Amazing.
pretty damn boss.
Oh no, that part where they were just like blow it.
Yeah, let's talk about this grand old scheme. Now,
Let's please.
yeah, let's please. Now, one thing I gotta say, now I just watched Mosquito for the first time like a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
and
so
one thing,
fun.
whenever it involves a swarming anything, I'm always going, how the hell are you going to collectively kill all of these all at once? I'm always waiting for that one solution that you're going to get that's going to do
And
that.
how dumb is it?
And how dumb and probably even how dangerous the damn thing is.
Mhm.
Man, I don't think anything could top what slugs did because holy shit, because
They were like,
Well,
we burned.
a chemical
We wanna blow this.
solution that at the second it comes in contact with the slug's mucus, it causes them to ignite. And I was like,
I didn't know that
It's-
slugs were flammable, but
Yeah.
You learn a lot from this movie, you know?
yeah, well, again, toxic things. I'm pretty sure it was chemicals in reaction to whatever it was that was whatever their mojo was.
Well,
kind of.
they in the I think in the film they said it reacts to water.
Oh
don't
yeah, well,
they?
like
Like-
moisture, yeah.
well, I mean, that's the thing is slugs are like 99.9% moisture. That's why you
I mean, they are, yeah, or
you want to
the
kill
moisture
them
of
in
the
a horrible
slugs,
way. You
right?
put the salt on
Well,
them.
the movie actually did
Right.
make a very interesting observation about the way slugs travel. Is that they actually travel on the bed of mucus, where like if
Mhm.
you saw a slug like on the edge of a knife, it would never get cut because the mucus that they generate would create a buffer on there. So I cannot believe this movie actually like gave us some legitimately interesting facts about slugs. But
Right, more kids got to watch slugs so they can learn their slug facts.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, sure, they'll see a butthole, but you know what? You just watch Cats, you know?
You know, yeah,
No,
it's-
you ain't got the butt.
I know. Imagine the buttholes.
I don't want to imagine.
I am totally fine with imagining the buttholes on Jason Derulo, you know? Maybe not on James Corden, though.
Oh,
And we already saw way too much of Rebel Wilson in it. The first thing we see her do is licking her own crotch. I mean, it's like that's basically
Cats.
Rebel Wilson's career in a nutshell right there.
Mhm.
Rebel Wilson covered in fur, licking her crotch. That's her entire career right there.
Well, you know, everybody's got to have dreams.
you do you, boo.
You do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love this ending because of how, I mean, they're always absurd with movies like this, but I was watching this and I was thinking to myself, I think that they killed more people
Yeah.
with the solution to the slugs than the slugs killed themselves.
They never warned anybody. There was no map.
They didn't tell anybody.
They're not.
Houses are actual
Because again,
homes are blowing up.
Yeah, the sheriff, they never, because again, the mayor didn't want to back him.
Oh.
I guess the head of Power and Water or something like that didn't back him either. Which incidentally, that was the same actor who played one of the cops in Pieces, by the way.
There's the one shop where they show the whole storefront just blown out, and I'm
I
like,
mean, that shop might be was closed because it was nighttime.
well, maybe it was closed, but hey, my wife's got a shop.
And wait a
She's
minute,
there.
wasn't this
She's
supposed to be
there.
Halloween night as well?
Yes, it is. It's Halloween night.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a bunch of kids are probably like it out.
I mean, and they show the like
anymore.
giant fireball coming out by that one party that's going on. So, but you know, like yeah, my wife's a shop owner, right? She's usually there a couple hours after they close, and so
Oh no!
like, who knows if that shop owner is still there?
Exactly.
Or and even if they're not, imagine being the shop owner and you show up to work the next day and your place is just blown to smithereens. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Oh dear Christ.
Like they destroyed more people's lives in one moment than those slugs ever could have.
See, at least Squirm just didn't commit to a finale. Just they survived the night and they're like, let's get the fuck out of here. But
Yeah.
yeah, the worms just the daylight came and the worms just went away after that. But I just love how this is their grand solution, which ends up just blowing up the entire fucking town.
And then one slug lives, and it's like, I hope I can asexually reproduce.
Yeah, actually, I think we do.
Oh, the one slug that's still on the grate, just like
On the-
vengeance
I don't
will
know.
be
I don't know how they can
mine.
reproduce.
I think they do actually. I think that's the yeah. So
I
that's
don't want to think about
yeah,
baby slugs.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Sequel baiting, you know. I mean, they
I mean, listen, that slug, that he's there plotting the revenge. You know,
Oh,
they
yeah.
show that close up in his little antenna movie, and he's like, I
Yo.
will get you.
yeah.
So you, what's that? My name is Antoya.
My name is Neo Montoya. Yeah.
You killed my
my
father.
father.
You
Oh, no,
son
that's
of a
what-
Prepare to die.
That slug shows up at Mike Brady's doorstep.
Exactly.
And Mike Brady's like, "How the fuck did you ring the doorbell?" I have my ways, pendejo.
I turned to my wife and I was like, man, I hope Mike Brady saved like a scrap of evidence somewhere or he is in deep shit after
mean,
No,
this.
him and the sheriff, because the sheriff also made the call.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you do have an extra couple witnesses to collaborate.
That's true. The fact that the sheriff's with them, I guess he'll probably be okay, but
it will help. It will help. I mean, because I will say I did like that there was an arc with the sheriff because they do establish that again. Not a lot of people like Mike Brady, but I like how gradually the sheriff is like the one who's been like a hard one to convince. But even gradually, you do see him coming to his senses, and then finally does come to at the very end.
The science professor or whatever, he's like trying to get the manhole off, and then the sheriff shows up, and you think there's going to be a confrontation, and no, it goes. He just helps them, and I'm like,
Yeah,
good change of. Because normally he always going to have the fight, and then it's like, is he going to get out in time, and all that.
yeah.
Right.
Either it's still actually made for a well orchestrated climax. I mean, yeah.
oh, it's well done, as ridiculous as it is, yeah.
And again, you do care about Don, and you are sad that the sewage worker who wouldn't have known that outlet would have spewed out water.
And
Yeah.
even though I can't really say that it makes much sense that his blood is bubbling out of the pool and
It was still
the way
just
that
a
it does,
cool-
it's very effective visual, you know. So-
Yeah, it was still a cool visual, just him rising up from the thing, just seeing him gradually like
And Mike Brady jumping onto that
Yeah.
pipe and doing that little
They-
I'm like, freaking American Gladiator move. I'm like, bro.
make it like American Ninja Warrior on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, your next step, American Ninja Warrior there, bud.
Yeah,
Like-
that's what he's got to do after that, you know, go to that
Yeah.
show.
Well, he's gonna have to after that.
I don't think he's anymore.
He ain't got no job after this.
He does not. He owes the city some money.
I just thought it was funny when he did that. I think the first time I ever saw it, I went, whoa.
Yeah,
Like, you just didn't see that coming.
it's like, could we at least had like like maybe a scene like earlier in the movie of him like at the gym or like or like doing like
It just was so, he just does it without thinking. And I don't know, it just cracked me up on how he's like going across this pipe and like hangs by his legs. And I'm just going, that's not what most people can do, sir.
It
Yeah.
is not. And it makes you think that he might actually save Don for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can he get him?
It's-
I was like,
Yeah.
he ain't gonna get
yeah,
him.
you ain't
You
gonna
ain't
get
gonna get him. No.
you ain't gonna get him. And again, it was sad.
Right.
It was sad because prior to this, Don was gonna get his D wet with his wife. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, and like yeah,
They were gonna make hot awkward
Salad
love.
sex.
Yeah.
hot tossed salad love, Wow, that actually meant exactly what it meant to mean, but actual literal salad was involved.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on sex salad in this movie. I mean, between that and of course the tainted slug salad later on. I mean, yeah, I mean it was kind of amazing how much salad was an aphrodisiac in this movie. It was kind of wild, But since we're
Yeah,
going ahead,
Salad's very important to Simone. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I guess so. I guess so. I mean, but since we're talking about, let's go ahead because we haven't really gotten into like the best thing in the movie. Of course, was the big old head explosion. Another we discovered is that in Spain, there's apparently something called the Goya Awards, which is like their equivalent to the Oscars. This won Best Special Effects that year.
See, Spain's doing it right.
Yeah.
They get it. They get it.
They get it. They get it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the merit of this one alone. Actually, when I was in preparation for this episode, I was downloading the trailer for the video, and I actually watched the trailer. They show it. I was like, God damn, nowadays, if you see blood in a trailer, they black it out. And it's like, no,
it's a red band.
Yeah, or it's a red band. But no, this time they just balls out show just the head exploding with blood and gore and viscera. I'm like, holy fuck.
Funny shot? What the fuck?
Yeah. That is a shame. Yeah, that would have been like that would have been
the reveal of he's acting a little, he's not feeling well. His head's gonna but not even blow up in the way you think. Like, why would you want to give that away?
See, I didn't even.
That's true.
Well, now, actually, for everybody, the first time you saw this, what did you actually think was going to happen? Like, did you have any foreknowledge?
I thought like slugs are going to be popping out of the belly or something. Like just went to kind of the obvious, I guess.
I knew they were getting a payoff. When he started having headaches, that's when I'm like, they're in his head, they're gonna come out of his like eyes or something.
Yeah.
Did I expect it in that format, like an explosion? No.
Well, and I definitely didn't expect the blood flukes or whatever.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know about those.
Yeah.
But I thought like maybe they were like baby slugs inside of it. They're inside.
Right, like somehow he ate the eggs and they just
something
grew.
like because I mean, I'm sure that kind of like in the horror stories of like the spider laying your face, kind of like that. I just had no idea how, but it went there.
Yeah, I was with you. I thought at the max, we were gonna get was like slugs coming out of his nose, out of his ears, maybe even like out of his eyes, where his eyes pop out Fulci style.
That did not happen.
That did not happen. Well, we did definitely got eyes popping, but not in the ways that we expected. But
in a much better way.
In a much grander.
The explosion was fine. It was like the aftermath. We see all the little blood flukes and that.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah, nasty.
It was like super nasty, but they were like, what did they use to make the little wiggly guys?
I think they actually really did use them. They just, I mean, I'm always kind of astonished about the way animal wranglers are, or just whenever they wrangle animals for these. Like a lot of times they will use the bona fide animal. They just say, we have safety parameters. Get the shot. But then we have to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's what they did have real slugs on set. And then the fake.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I just watched Venom recently, the film from 1981. They actually used a fucking black mamba in that movie.
Nope.
And I was like, Jesus Christ.
The black snake. No, we gotta have a.
Unfortunately, that's something there is a distinctness. Unfortunately, they
defanged or something.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's like, if it gets Klaus Kinski.
I was about to say, no, I think they would have rather worked with the Black Mamba than Klaus Kinski. But,
Yeah. I mean, it's more effective when it's real like that. Open Water used real sharks. They just threw the two actors into a pool and we're like, have fun.
Yeah. Well, usually for that, what they'll do is that they'll feed the sharks like enough so that way they don't really pay attention to them after.
Sure, but again, they use real sharks, so you feel the fear is genuine, basically.
Well, I mean, like one of the most famous shots in Jaws, which was an accident, was when the shark gets on top of the cage. Mm-hmm. That was when they were shooting the little person in a miniature cage with a normal shark, and by accident, the shark got caught into the cage and started freaking out. And they just happen to have a camera roll.
Yeah.
That movie's a lot of happy accidents.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that now because I don't remember.
But no, I didn't say that during the commentary.
Okay, good.
But, like that's a real shark, because I always was like, how the hell they do that scene? That's a real shark, and
right,
because it was.
Yeah, because it was. There you go.
It's an accident.
Yeah,
they were just like, okay, we're writing this scene around that because.
It's actually I wouldn't be surprised if they actually probably did get blood flukes, probably did cover them all over the corpse,
or
something similar enough. I mean, they were pretty distinctive, but they just cover them on top of the corpse and the fake corpse and just do some insert shots because really that's all they needed to do.
It's just like 1 or 2 insert shots,
and then you're golden. But it was just a damn great effect. And I'll say if there's anything that's now the movie could have been at risk of just being yet another creature feature, but then you throw in just that. It's one of those cases where one thing pushes the movie over the cliff to make it like memorable as hell, and that is that moment that really pushes Slugs over the cliff and makes it like something worth watching. Like one that I at some later point would probably show at a party just so people to get people's reaction to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, all the other kills are pretty standard issue, what you would expect from is for the most part. That's the one that's like, now we're stepping outside the box a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that really surprises you the first time.
It really does. It really does. Yeah. And even then, this is just another victim character, but they actually do take the time to establish that, oh man, maybe after this meeting, things are looking up for him. He's about to make a big deal. Things that look like are going to be fine with his wife. Like his wife might actually bottom out after this.
They really do make it like as sad as possible. Like he's just about to sign a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh man, no,
it's like the best day of his life otherwise.
Yeah. And he's not like a bad person by any means. Normally they like kill off like people you don't like. It's like, nah, he's just a guy. Like, he actually his wife's an alcoholic, but he doesn't seem to like be cruel to her about it.
But it's like right prior at a scene where she's actually like apologetic for her.
She's like trying to get better.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that sucks.
Yeah, that really does suck. I mean, maybe if she had been sober, she probably would have noticed.
She would have noticed
that slug in the salad when you.
Is that because she was intoxicated, she didn't notice.
Well, she gonna be sober now.
The other moral lesson of Slugs: always wash your lettuce.
Always wash your lettuce, and just because it looks like an olive, it's not an olive.
Yes.
Or actually, no. Moral of the story: just don't eat olives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly the thing I took most away from this movie is now I'm just afraid I'm going to eat a goddamn slug in a salad. I'm going to be checking my lettuce thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I need to be more careful of that too. I only just recently now found out about Caesar salad that anchovies are in Caesar salad. You told me that, I think.
Yeah, and the Caesar dressing.
Yeah, I never knew that.
No,
I never knew that at all. Yeah, I never knew that.
That's why vegans can't have Caesar
salad. So now
I didn't know that bone is in Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would not assume that,
Like, why would I think that? And
why would there be bone in this delicious
Jello's
dessert?
not vegan. I'm like,
so I guess if you're drunk off your ass, you're gonna forget whether or not you put olives in the salad. So
I mean, that's at least like doesn't because it did kind of look like olives.
It did look like black olives.
It does, yeah.
Why you would not think, what the fuck is that in my salad?
Well, and apparently,
how come she didn't get blood flukes?
She doesn't like olives.
maybe she didn't eat the salad. She didn't eat the salad. She's like, "Here's your salad, bitch." Then just
she probably
walk
just
away.
didn't eat any.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I mean,
actually, I think you're right.
I don't think she ate any, or she probably didn't eat. She doesn't like olives.
Yeah, she's out of the movie. Like she's out of the movie after that reconciliation scene.
So maybe she did get the blood flukes, and we just never know.
Yeah, she died like at home.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been kind of cool afterwards if they maybe like ran back to her house and they like say, "We have something bad to say." Oh, never
They just cut to like an end scene after everything where someone just
It'd
shows
be
up
like
to her
Benny
house and
Loves
she's
You.
laying
It'd be
there
like
with-
Benny Loves You, where we just have a little cutaway to her with her exploded head next to a bottle of.
Well, actually,
JD.
he didn't eat it because he not long after eating it started not feeling well, but she was okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think she had it.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It'd be funny, but
It'd be funny, but it wouldn't.
Mentioning the ending reminded me again. I do love how after, and correct if I'm wrong about his name, I believe it's Don who dies in the pool in the end. Yeah. I do love how after Don dies, it's this brief moment of like, Mike being all upset and everything, and then his wife shows up and it's like really joyous, happy music, and it's like, fuck Don.
Yeah.
Don's wife's at home, thinks he's coming home.
Yeah.
Why would you tell her, right?
Yeah. She was probably getting all provocative in her granny panties, being all like hot and ready for him, and just with romaine and spinach like all around the
yeah, typical romantic evening, sprinkling romaine on the bed.
What?
Like dressed up like a sexy olive oil going, "Oh, Popeye."
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where George discovers eating with sex at the same time. I don't know if you guys
I think I remember that one.
I never watched.
Yeah, he discovers the joy of eating while having sex, and there's one point where he's like, she's under the sheets and he pops his head out to like grab a sandwich and quickly eat a couple bites. But,
oh,
yeah,
God. Oh, yeah.
Who needs rose petals when you got romaine lettuce?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, at least if you need to carb up.
Yeah, you carb up, get some croutons.
Hold on.
Yeah, just she does the ping pong trick, but with croutons.
No,
Honey, I
it's
thought you were making
tomatoes.
salad tonight. No, it's like, honey, I thought
Matt,
you
you
were
are now
making salad.
witnessing why I
am
married
the
this
salad.
person.
I'm sorry, what?
You are now witnessing why I married this person.
Oh, I can tell an hour ago.
Oh my God. So we're Juan Piquer Simon, what are you doing to us? Yeah, though hilariously, they actually did say that it was a very harmonious set. I mean, for a guy like Juan Piquer Simon who feels the way he does and has his own sensibilities towards exploitative filmmaking, everyone said that apparently it was a dream set to work on.
I mean, it's sorry, it's just a further reminder that, like, none of this stuff is generally reflective of who people are, right? Like, you might write the nastiest, meanest stuff, but it doesn't mean you are that person.
With Pieces, there were some other people
Mm,
in the production that were pretty nasty.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
assumption might be is not necessarily it's one of those, you get some people around you and you start kind of melding with them and their sensibilities, and it becomes maybe a little toxic or uncomfortable.
For sure.
But those maybe, I don't know, I'd have to look at the list. Those people maybe were not involved in this film.
Oh, yeah,
So he
probably.
didn't have like bad influence or
Right.
like just influences that made him maybe not as respectful of others.
Yeah, and I'm by no means defending him. Maybe he is terrible, or maybe he was a terrible person. I have no idea. I'm just, but it's
Yeah.
just that thing of like,
Well, it's
just
just
because
interesting the difference.
Yeah, there's also
Yeah.
another factor here. Pieces was filmed in Spain pretending to be Boston. So there is that whole thing of I'm on my home field, I can be a certain way. Whereas Slugs was actually filmed in North Carolina, I think. It was filmed in North Carolina, I believe. So
The town was, yeah.
the town where they filmed it was in North Carolina. So, that was he probably knew that that he had to conduct himself in a different way on an American set.
Well, there is that difference between European sensibilities
Yeah.
versus the American ones.
For sure.
Not to say one's better than the other or what, but there's always those
Attitudes.
It's just how people act, and I mean, it could be thrown back at Americans, like how we're loud and disrespectful and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
But then there's also, I mean, yeah, agreed.
I mean, yeah, there's lots of things to be frustrated with Americans about.
Oh yeah. Well,
To
I
say
mean,
the
you
least.
hear it all the time with sets that are in England, and they'll have like, what was it? I think Cameron had issues with on Aliens.
Oh yeah.
With the English production people versus the American, because they had like different sensibilities.
Well, a lot of
Like
some filmmakers don't like the English thing of how they legit stop for tea time.
Yeah.
And
that's
some
I know in
directors don't like
Spain,
that.
there's their whole days are shifted like farther into the night, and they have a complete different timetable.
Yeah, they treat, like, if I remember correctly, they kind of take the middle of the day off to have like lunch is like dinner for them, like the big
Yeah, it's like
family
completely different.
thing.
Yeah, whereas I hear, like, well, for example, actually I've heard one place that's like a dream to work at is apparently in Serbia, where Joe Lynch did Mayhem. And he said, like, and actually that's where he also made Everly, and apparently that place was great for the way he was making movies out there.
I've also heard that's of Prague.
Yeah,
and those
Prague as well.
areas but I feel like those probably is also, they're happy to have like people come to them because they're probably not as visited or getting as much
That's true.
income as England, Spain, France.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that's all academic at this point to really kind of decide like how it is. But no, apparently Juan Piquer Simon was a dream to work with for everyone involved with Slugs. Like the special effects guy actually even said like that he was just as professional as Spielberg, apparently, like because actually Carlo de Marchis also worked on Alien, and he worked with Spielberg on Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but he also worked on Alien, and he was all over the place. I mean, he worked in Alien, Close Encounters. He also worked on Deep Red as well. So this guy ran the gamut with like different countries, different directors. So if there's anyone who's going to be a judge on like how certain people work out of different countries, it would definitely be this guy. So yeah,
Right.
credit to where he's due there. So Can't think of anything else. We got nothing. Anything else?
The
Final?
slugs. I mean,
Yeah, it's slugs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a particularly deep movie, so I don't know if I have.
Can't imagine what else. I mean, I suppose, coming off the heels of our Pride Month, I mean, there has been like the joke about the shipping of Don and Mike Brady. I mean, because there were some scenes where they were kind of, but you could just chalk it up. Actually, no, one thing we can joke about was the odd aesthetical choice of the music.
oh my god.
Yeah, the score.
Music when they're showing up to the derelict house.
Yeah.
That felt like it was like a 70s little happy cop show or
Happy
something.
Cop show, like a Street to San Francisco type thing. The composer Tim Suster. There was
The music did not know what movie it was in.
It's funny because there were times like that where I was like, what the hell is this? And then, but then there's also moments where like, I like the opening score, during the credits, like there are moments that the score really works, and then there's moments it really doesn't.
It's just, you got to pick your moment. I mean, I find it funny that that Juan Piquer Simon used sampled music for pieces, and oddly enough, it worked. Actually,
That makes sense actually, because there was one particular track I didn't look it up before this. I kept thinking to myself, this sounds so familiar. What is this from?
Yeah.
So okay.
And that's actually, if you look at certain versions of pieces, it says music by Cam. And that was an acronym for, I think, like a music library that had sampled music. But just to hide the fact, they just said, "Oh, we found an artist named Cam," and that's what it was. Just to hide the fact that they basically just, in lazy fashion, just sampled music. But in this case, it was composed by a guy named Tim Suster, who I guess was just really excited to be composing a movie because he was like giving it his all for the wrong moments of the movie. Like, as we said, there's a dun 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 da da da, and they're just parking their car.
Yeah.
It's like it literally sounded like
and now the news.
Yeah, like
and now the news. Yeah, at the end of it, just instinctively, I just said, "And now the news."
That's what it feels like.
Kind of thing. So
I did also want to add that speaking of this being set on Halloween, this is the least or one of the least Halloweeny feeling Halloween set horror movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think the only one that rivals it is maybe like
most of the Halloween with Michael Myers.
Well,
I went there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, but they're like Howling New Moon Rising, I think, is set on Halloween, and you see like maybe one decoration in that movie. But
you don't even see any decorations.
Yeah.
In this, no, you see a couple jack-o'-lanterns in the party scene, and that's it.
I mean, they could have just removed those and just had it be a party that they go out to.
Like, I forget who says it, but there's the moment where she wishes him a happy Halloween, and I'm like, it is? Since when?
It's like, we're in the horniest town in America. Where are all the kids that are the product of this horniness?
Right, where's all the slutty Halloween costumes, damn it?
Yeah, they're going to a Halloween party and nobody's actually dressed up except the one guy was wearing a mask, I think, but like nobody else.
Yeah, but he only wore that for like insidious purposes.
Yeah,
like that was before Halloween.
Identity, which was not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, like y'all want to not even a paper mache, nothing. Like
I'm just saying, if you set your movie on Halloween, like try a little bit.
Okay, here we go. I got it.
Like, Halloween movies with Michael Myers did a little bit better.
Yeah. Actually, no. I'm gonna headcanon this shit. I'm gonna headcanon this shit. This is in the world post Halloween 3. Halloween got banned because Silver Shamrock killed all the kids.
6 years after that.
Yeah, 6 6 years.
Fair enough, because it wasn't until Cursed that they actually banned Halloween. So they say it in Halloween.
Yeah, they banned.
It's been banned. It's been banned ever since Jamie disappeared at the end of part 5.
I still stand that the funny part about Halloween 3 is that those masks were said to be expensive. So this is like upper middle class kids are getting killed. Like the lower class is still. It's like eat the fucking rich.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like
that'll be a little sample of foreshadowing when we actually do our commentary on Halloween 3 come Halloween time. So that's our plan. All right. I think we've mined slugs for as much as we can do. So as is customary, go ahead and give us your top kill, though I think all of us can pretty much agree on that.
Oh yeah, I don't even have to think about it. It's the head
explosion.
It's not even close. The funniest kill maybe is again the floor is lava guy,
Yeah, I'll give that as an honorable mention. I'll give both of them as an honorable mention because if there's any part of the movie that actually showed how agonizing it probably is to be eaten alive by these things. Because I will say, being eaten alive is a pretty freaky way to die.
And it's not just that they're eaten alive, it's that there's just something about being naked too while it's happening that's just like
Yeah,
more demeaning and uncomfortable, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah. It's like when especially when you think about, yeah, actually, you don't want to think about it, but yeah, we're going into like some pretty disgusting like Japanese like hentai territory
Oh
here.
God.
Like when you think about the fact they're naked on there with a bunch of like little slugs on there, like, oh man, that'd be horrible. Yeah. So
Not a way you want to go.
okay, yeah. So taking head explosions out of the equation, that'd be the one because that was the one that really did a good job showing how horrible it would be to be eaten alive by these things. So
Yeah, it's the most effective besides the head, and yeah.
yeah. Even if I will say is like you can easily see the tarp, the plastic tarp under the slugs as she's writhing around there. I was like going like, oh wow, I guess they lined the slugs were cut. No, that's how the slugs were able to hide it. They lined the ground in plastic tarp
They
first.
laid some tarp down ahead
They
of
laid
time.
tarp down before they got
It was
down.
it was a premeditated murder.
That's what it was. Okay. All right. So
Clever slugs.
oh, slugs, bless you. We now I know this is on Tubi. I know for audiences you can watch this on Tubi.
It is, yeah.
Some friends very kindly bought us the Arrow Video Blu-ray, which actually did have some lovely features on there, so definitely worth a go. So that's
Oh,
how
Arrow's always great.
Arrow's amazing. So I was definitely jumping on that. Also, the cover art is amazing.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. All right. So for our final thing, we'll go ahead and give our random recommendations of anything new or old we just watched. I know you and me were bawling over The Life of Chuck, but seeing as that's not a film,
Oh. Yeah, that's so good.
yeah. On a side note, Life of Chuck, everyone go see it. It will wreck you, but then it will invigorate you at the same time. It's gorgeous.
Mm.
Yeah, but aside from that, have you caught anything recently?
Yeah, actually, I'll mention Best Wishes to All, which
Beat
just
me to
dropped
it, damn
on
you.
Shudder. Sorry, I'm just looking at my Letterbox activity, and that was the one I most
Yeah,
recently watched. Yeah, Best Wishes to All. I enjoyed that, and it's one that I've been, it's one that I think you kind of find yourself thinking a lot about afterwards because there's quite a bit going on in the film,
yeah. Well,
that.
yeah, it's kind of a bold statement. He was making just a pretty ballsy statement, basically saying like, think about your happiness and think about the idea that your happiness actually comes at the expense of others.
Right, like the cost of happiness, which it just, yeah,
Yeah,
very dark film, very
very
uncomfortable
dark but
film.
fascinating, fascinating movie. So, and that was from the guy who directed the original Ju-on, wasn't it?
I don't know actually.
Yeah. And Lynn, you actually, well, in preparation for Spooky Empire, I did show you one recently. Jacob.
Jacob's wife.
Yeah, because
Oh yeah, it's a fun
yeah,
one.
Barbara Crampton's going to be at Spooky Empire. So to give us some more talking points, I showed Lynn Jacob's wife. So what was your take on that?
Oh, oh, to interject, yeah, Best Wishes to All is that's actually a new director.
Oh,
Their
new
their
director.
feature debut, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Fair enough. Now, Jacob's wife, well, this it's just because Barbara Crampton, I mean, even though she kind of made a big comeback with You're Next and even We Are Still Here, I'd like to think Jacob's wife was when she had the calling to start producing her stuff at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think that was like her first big producing effort, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was her first one, but yeah, it was a big effort of hers that she helped get off the ground and get made. So,
Yeah, and obviously that one went over so well. Now she's like a major name in producing because I mean she's
mhm.
had like a bunch of movies come out. I mean this year, I mean we had Little Bites.
Well, well, and she was really big behind Suitable Flesh too, I believe.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I cannot wait to talk about that with her.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, for I myself, as I said, I watched the movie Venom recently, which is another interesting When Animals Attack movie, but actually one that I definitely want to talk about because I don't think we talked about in the last podcast, which we definitely have to praise. Predator Killer of Killers.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mhm.
one, holy fuck. I mean, I'm already excited for Badlands, but this was just a fun little thing on the side that I didn't know. Well, no, we did want it. We just didn't realize we wanted it like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I just think if anything, Trachtenberg just continues to prove that he has a lot of passion for Predator and knows what he's doing. So, it just makes you
yeah.
even more excited for Badlands.
Oh, really does. And it kind of makes me wonder if Badlands is going to be like the culmination of everything we've seen in Prey and in this. That would be kind of fascinating
Oh, I
too.
think so.
That'd
Yeah.
be just fast. That would just be wild. I mean, I'm for it if he just keeps sticking with this franchise for a while. And then apart from that, I did catch Dangerous Animals, and now actually in Madly in Love with Sean Byrne. I only saw the Love
Right,
ones.
because you hadn't seen his other work before this, right?
Yeah, no, I jumped in preparation for Dangerous Animals. I watched The Devil's Candy and The Love Ones prior
Mm,
to it. Now he's one of my new favorites. Now he's pretty freaking great.
yeah. No, I
Uh,
really like Sean Byrne. I'm a huge fan of Loved Ones. I think that movie's fucking fantastic.
Someone
Oh,
described it properly when they said it was Wolf Creek meets Pretty in Pink.
yeah,
I'm
basically.
like, that's a pretty damn good of comparison. And The Devil's Candy was staggeringly good. Like I really got emotionally invested in that one. Dangerous Animals was fun, just
Yeah.
fun movie. Not as extraordinary as the other ones, but I still had a fun time with it. Jai
It
Courtney it owned the movie.
yeah, it's not on the level of the others. It's still fun. And honestly, the thing that I really liked about that was just how well it treats sharks. It's a shark
Yeah,
exploitation film that's not a shark exploitation film. Like
that's actually one that treats sharks with respect. Funny enough.
right, right.
Yeah,
It really it really made an effort to point out like the sharks are not the monsters of this story, you know?
exactly.
And I just
Yeah,
really appreciate that because most films like that won't do that.
yeah. So that is Slugs, and this is our second entry into When Nature Strikes Back month. Next, we should be getting into Lake Placid after that, and then it is Deep Blue Sea. I'm hoping to get Ivatry's Littles to join us for that one. So, if anything else, internet etiquette, Matt, go ahead, tell everyone where to find you.
Oh yeah, so you can find me on Bluesky at werematt. I'm also Let's see. You can also go to my website, killerhorrorcritic.com, where I have a bunch of reviews for new and old horror movies. I have a column at Manor Vellum called Misunderstood Monsters, where I just write about movie monsters and what they're all about there.
Nice.
Have writings at Dread Central, Umbrella Entertainment, a few releases, Arrow, a couple releases. So,
Really?
yeah,
No,
did
I
you not
didn't know
know
about that. No, I didn't
that?
know about the Arrow video or the no, that's awesome.
Yeah, you didn't know about have I not told you? Sorry if I'm like
No, no, you didn't tell
interrupting
me
the
about that.
show
That's
here,
awesome.
but
That's great.
yeah, I've done a few for Umbrella and Arrow. I did actually since we just had Friday the 13th, I wrote an essay for the Friday the 13th remake that Arrow did a release of last year.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that they're doing their own Friday the 13th. I mean, I don't know if well, after I've got the beautiful box set, I don't know if I'm gonna
Yeah.
have any other.
Oh no, that's fair. And you can go ahead and delete this if you want, but like yeah, it's always that thing of when you do work on these things, like you're gonna be upset regardless when there's one that comes out that you wanted to work on that you didn't work on.
Oh,
But at the same time, you gotta understand there's like a ton of people doing this. I'm not gonna be called for everything. But when they
hey,
did Jason X, I was just like, oh, I wanted to do that.
hey, see, actually, for the future, talk to Synapse. I mean, they apparently, I think they got Hello Mary Lou.
Yes, they did.
They did.
And they
So
probably already have people working on it, but I don't know. We'll see.
if
That's
they're
one I would definitely
smart,
like to do.
they'll get Michael Varrati to do a commentary on that because Michael
As
Varrati
they
wrote.
should.
Well, because he wrote that amazing front page article from Fangoria praising Hello Mary Lou. So it's like if there's anyone you get, actually no,
Yeah.
hell, get Michael Varrati and Peaches Christ to do the commentary track
Yeah, as they should. They'd be great for that.
and Darcy the Mail Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, and I've done some things for Umbrella. They just had a French New Extremity set come out that I worked on.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so yeah.
I don't know if I'll buy it because
And that's okay. They're
most of those movies
pricey.
I was happy I saw them, but I don't know if I'll ever watch them again.
Yeah, I like them, but I definitely understand why maybe someone doesn't want to watch Martyrs that often, you know?
Yeah, or Inside.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
Inside in that set too?
No, it isn't actually.
Oh, that's a shock, actually. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting. All right.
But yeah,
Okay.
so you can find me all over the place, I guess.
All right. All right, everyone. Well, stay tuned. We will be, getting crazy with nature for the next couple of weeks, and
Getting
after
crazy
that,
with nature.
getting crazy with nature, or we're going au natural. After that, we'll figure it out after that. But in the meantime, if you wish to delve into the dark bowels of human imagination, ask yourself the simple question: what's in the podcast?
Thank you for joining us on this edition of What's in the Podcast. If you find yourself hungry for more deep cuts into the gloriously morbid and macabre, you can also find us on TikTok, Bluesky, and YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. You can also follow us on Instagram at Narcotic Casserole 25. Follow us if you dare.